Welcome back to Gospel Times right here with Kayla J and Reverend Louise Williams Bishop on WRD Progressive Black Talk Media on air and online at wordradio.com. I am so excited, you all, for my next guest here, Mr. Jaron Legrair. He is blowing up TikTok as the voice teacher analyst. Oh my God. I am a super big fan and super happy to have him here. So, Jaron, hello, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm good. I am so excited. I'm honored. Look, I even think about stuff blowing up on TikTok, but hey, I'll take it. I appreciate it. I do. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I'm excited to have you here. One thing that I like to do though, before we dive deep into any conversation, is do wellness checks. We know that the world is super crazy. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you feeling?
I would say like a 8. I would say a solid 8, eight and a
That's
half.
good.
I'm always just a little tired, but other than that, I'm chilling. I'm good. I feel good today. Got some good rest last night, so I'm
Come on,
good.
rest.
Listen,
That's
we
this
need
kid.
it.
Yes, we do. Awesome. So I'm happy you're at 8. I'm happy you're doing well. I'm happy you got some rest. So let's dive right into one of the reasons why I have you here is the fact that you're a voice coach and a voice teacher. Share with us a little bit of why did you even get into music?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up singing my whole life, so I was always involved in something vocally my entire life. But I got into teaching. I did not want to be a teacher, a voice teacher, until college. I was one
Oh,
day sitting in the hallway watching professors walk by, and I just said, I want to do what they do. And they getting good money teaching you how to sing. Like, how can I get into that? And that's honestly was no big moment. It was just I think I'm gonna do that. And so I just started researching how to become a voice teacher, and I just kind of followed that path, so to speak.
wow.
But the reason I kind of teach the way I do is really just because of I want to make sure my voice is represented. So that's kind of how I got into what I'm doing in terms of specifically me. But generally, it was just I just wanted to make sure people had the help, I should say, to sing and speak the way they want to, with the right knowledge and just as healthy and as fit as they can. And I kind of just snowballed from there, and it kind of became what it is today. So that, in a nutshell, that's what it was. And I actually also, a lot of people don't know this, but when I was younger, I had a speech issue,
Wow.
where I was really sick as a child, and I was taking steroids and medicines and messed with the frontal lobe, the speech part of my brain. And
Mm.
so I went to therapists and things like that. And they were like, he's a fully functioning kid. Like, there's nothing necessarily, he's not disabled and nothing like that. He just, for whatever reason, he cannot speak clearly. It was till I had a speech, my speech therapist, Mrs. Coos. I don't know if she's still alive or not. I mean, because I'm in my 30s now. So I hope she is. And if I ever meet her, I will probably cry in buckets. But I wanted to give, she gave me my voice, and gave me my speaking voice. So I wanted to do that same thing for the people, and I vividly remember seeing her. I was 3 or 4 years old, but I remember her face, and I remember playing different games with her. But
Oh, wow.
so I know she made a huge impact in my life, and I can remember her name to this day. And if I ever meet her, I would be crying buckets. But yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell why I became, a teacher.
That is really awesome. I would have never thought that you had a speech impediment, but the crazy thing is a lot of people who we know and love for their vocal abilities all had speech impediments as a child. So I don't
Mhm.
know. It may be something there. It may be
Yeah,
some.
maybe something that. Yeah, you're right. Maybe something there.
If you don't mind me asking, what voice do you sing, or do you have a large range?
I as I've taught, I don't get much into vocal range in terms of like labeling myself, just because it can be limiting. I don't mind anybody else who does, but I've sung soprano and alto my entire life, and you can hear my speaking
Wow.
voice is pretty high. So, anybody who knows me, who has ever sung with me, are like, oh no, he up there, like he gonna stay up there. So I mean, when I sung with Ricky Dillard for several
Mhm.
years, and I sung alto in that choir. In New G for several years, so I've always been at least an alto. Tenor never worked, so I've always stuck to alto soprano. That's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, alto soprano. I'm belting everything. I can also do the male soprano classical stuff I need to. So yeah, a little bit of that.
Wow. So you said you sung with the choir master himself, none other than the Ricky Dillard.
Yeah.
Uh and I've seen well, not I've seen, but I know that a lot of vocal teachers and vocal professionals kind of frown down on the style that gospel singers sing, right? So I
Mhm.
want to know, in your professional opinion, in your in your teaching, has it been harder to train gospel artists, if you've ever trained any?
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's mainly what I get in my studio. I get so many gospel artists because, and to answer your question, it has not been hard. It's actually been much easier for me to train them because I live that life. So I know what they're doing because I do it too. So I have that connection to worship leaders. I sing at a praise band in my church, when I can and things. I sing in choirs my whole life. So I've lived that life. I may not be as active singing as I used to be, but I still know all about that life of singing that way and understanding how to use my voice that way. Um, I can count on one hand how many times I had vocal issues ever in my life. And by hand, I mean like one finger. So I had one moment where I had a vocal issue. And that's because I just overdid it. They just reprised the song 5, 6, 7 times and I was screaming and I was
Okay.
already tired. So that was just that one isolated moment. And even then I didn't have any nodules and nodes. I just overdid it
Mhm.
to where, and I think also for me was kind of a little bit of acid reflux. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so other than that, I never had a problem singing it. So I feel like I understand other artists who come to me wanting to be able to do what they do best because I have that connection. And so I would say it has not been harder for me. I specialize in my own brain. I specialize what I call Black vocal arts. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what I kind of labeled it in my brain. So including gospel, and jazz, other things. I feel like I thrive in those types of genres just because I've sung it and I lived the life. I'm part of the culture. I don't ever tell myself a expert in like Tibetan throat singing, and that's not part of who I am. I love it. I mean, I think that stuff is awesome. I don't know how to do it, but I love it. So yeah, so that's not part of who I am. So I'm not going to say I'm an expert in it. But there are people who teach that stuff. It just ain't me. So
Right.
so yes, I would say, but for gospel and stuff, that's a walk in the park for me. In terms of just the connectivity I have to it.
So with that, with your connectivity to it, what is maybe your if there is a hardest thing, the hardest thing to teach them? Is it
Mhm.
like vocal control? Is it dynamics? You know,
Man,
as a gospel singer and teacher.
yeah. I was generally speaking, I'm trying to think what I would say has become the hardest thing. I will say this. The hardest thing is to teach gospel singers not to sing as hard.
Mm.
You're told always, sing out. If your throat ain't hurting, you're not doing enough. And da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. And we done heard these men our entire life. I heard them, like people told me these men. And I'm like, these are not, and I thought they were true a little bit until I learned more. When you know better, you do better. And that's kind of how I've been, kind of how I teach. Now that I understand the anatomy and physiology, I translate that. How can I make this type of singing present itself more healthily, but still be taken seriously and not losing the the artistic part of it, or the cultural part of it. I don't want to lose integrity for the sake of trying to sing better. So I would say not pushing this hard. Just you don't have to push as much to get the power and volume, or whatever word you want to use, that you want to have. You can just use less energy and be more efficient. I'm all about efficiency. Just finding the easiest or most efficient, smartest option for singing some type, whatever you want to sing. So some people just overwork and overdo. So I'm like, just ease up a little bit, y'all. Just
Hmm.
relax a little bit. So I think that's the hardest thing for people to understand when I teach gospel, is like you don't have to go as hard as you think. I actually had, and I mean to talk this much. I actually had a TikTok uh comment. There we go. TikTok comment. They're asking how to bark. Because I was talking about barking in a video. They were like, I've always wondered how to do that. Can you do that? And I'm gonna do a whole video on barking. Because there's definitely an art to doing that type of singing. It's not just I get up and yell and let my vibrato go everywhere. There's a control, there's a shape, there's those elements that we have to think about. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna teach them how to bark.
Teach them. Teach them. But you brought it up, TikTok. That's where I first came across you,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's really amazing what you're doing. So, one, how does it feel to be TikTok famous?
I struggle with the famous word to this very day. I struggle. Everybody calls me famous, and I'm just be like, it's interesting. Though I didn't when I got on TikTok not even a year ago. I got on in January. Like this was
Wow,
and I'm sorry, I got on last year, late last year. I'm sorry, I hit 100K in January. But I think it's barely been a year been on TikTok, maybe. And I did not want to do it. So to going from I don't be on TikTok to now I'm close to 300,000 people looking at my stuff. I'm like, what? So it's interesting. I've gone to various cities that I've, either done a workshop in or taught in or something. And people have recognized me on the street. People have recognized me, like, it ain't like, Beyonce recognizing.
yeah,
But every now and again, somebody will say, "You're on TikTok." And I'm like, "I am." They're like, "You're that voice guy." And I was like, "I am." Yeah, no. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And I went to a wedding, my friend's wedding, and like, so many people came up to me who I didn't know. They're like, "Oh my God, I follow you on TikTok. You're friends with her?" I'm like, "That's one of my best friends who just got married. Like both of them are like my best friends. And they were like, I didn't know you lived here." And I'm like, "Yeah." So that kind of thing is kind of interesting in a cool way. But just being able to provide what I do and people enjoy it is always an honor for me. I never get to say it verbally, but I always try to thank people when they talk to me, any kind of like, "Thank you so much, for watching my content and liking it and wanting to hear more." And for people to trust my insight is huge for me. People to trust my words, my opinion, and my intellect in that way to say, what are they doing? And then they hold on to my every word, and I was like, "Ooh, I hope I'm saying what's right," But no, I'm always super honored and super blessed to have the followers and stuff that I have. So
that's awesome. So, how did you come up with your idea for your content of just analyzing people on the air? Well, on TikTok, how did you come up with that?
well, I've done it on YouTube years before I got on TikTok. So it was kind of like bringing my YouTube idea to another platform. And so actually I did it on Instagram. I did it on YouTube and Instagram, then brought it to TikTok. And so basically I wanted to showcase people of color and particularly Black people on my channel because so many other channels show, or white people singing, the white brothers and sisters, whatever, European singers, which ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool for y'all. But
Yeah.
nobody talked about singers who looked like me, who sounded like me, and I wanted to bring an art form and a tangible intellect to what we do naturally,
Mm,
what we do as singers and speakers naturally. We have a way of speaking and singing that is unprecedented, that is second to none in how we use our voice. And it comes natural for so many of us. We weren't taught this. It just, I didn't take a voice lesson until I was in high school. I just
oh, wow.
sang in choirs and stuff my whole life. And the reason I took lessons in high school because it was required. No, besides that, I probably would have never taken a voice lesson like in college. So so I wanted to just bring insight and to show people this is how these people are doing what they're doing and to show the art form of our voices and other people of color. I've analyzed Tibetan, like I said before, Tibet throne singing. I've analyzed Inuit people. I've analyzed, the Latinx community. I've analyzed them, and I also people of color, but mainly I focus on, our people, just because I want people to understand what we do is beautiful. It's just as legitimate as classical opera, just as legitimate as, pop, just as legitimate as everything else that we want to label things as. This takes skill. How Ricky Dillard and New G, how we sang, takes skill. How Whitney Houston sings takes skill. Like this is not just I get up and do. This is coming to show you how talented Richard Smallwood and Vision, Donald Lawrence, and try to say, Leandria Johnson, how she can
Mm,
grind and growl. That's not just her screaming. That is a skill. That is a blessing, a gift that she has that, I'm sure she probably never necessarily sat in a lesson, got it taught to her, but she has that natural ability just to just go there. And it's so powerful and moving. And so I just want to show people like, this is skill. This is not just I wake up and hope for the best. This is thinking and skill.
it is. it takes a lot of skill. So I, as one who appreciate the arts and especially good vocalists, I
Mhm.
want to appreciate you and thank you for doing that and just showing the difference because it does take skill. A lot of people I think take it for granted, and I also think some people write it off as a non-skill, you know.
Yes.
So to see someone making sure that the world recognizes it as a skill, I give you kudos, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
certainly welcome. It's almost time for us to wrap up, but before we do that, I want you to just share a little bit about your studio and
you.
what do you do there, and if folks are in your area, how they can link up with you, and then give y'all your
Yeah.
social media so they can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my private studio, the lovely Jaron M. Legrair studio, always have a different positive synonym when I do my videos. The lovely, the stunning, the luxurious, always something. I use something just to speak life to my studio. But my studio, I do singers and speakers alike because as much as singers, as much as I love singing and stuff like that, speakers use their voices just as much as singers. Preachers, I work with preachers all the time, poets, rappers, you name it, teachers, corporate executives, podcast hosts, radio hosts. I work with all types of voice users, depending on their vocation, and I try to cater all my sessions to them. So I do private coaching. I do private one-on-one sessions. I'm hoping to get back to my group sessions sometime this year, where I do like workshops and master classes with just whoever wants to sign up. But lately my studio has turned a lot more to the social media, honestly, because I do a lot more content than I used to. And once again, all this content stuff fell in my lap. I wasn't planning on being this involved in content, even 6 months ago. It just now I have lighting, and content development, and like have to write down like it's a whole thing now, so I take days out of my week to make content as opposed to even in April, I wasn't doing that. Now I have content days. So I'm a little more heavy on social media nowadays, but I still teach privately. I always will teach privately. So if you're interested in signing for a lesson, you can go to my website at jmlegrairstudio.com. That is JMLEGRAIRSTUDIO.com. Or if you look at my social media, it's JM Legrair Studio on all social platforms that I'm on. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We on Pinterest too. Just I don't never be there, but there's an account. There's an account, and we gonna get it active soon. But anyway, but I'm on those 5 or 6 platforms. But yeah, that's what I do. I also teach at a few universities, so I'm a professor of voice as well. But my main focus is teaching privately in my studio. So if y'all want to sign for a lesson, I'm fully online, so you don't have to necessarily live near me to have a lesson. You could just sign up online, and I'll see you on the computer or on your phone or on your tablet, and we can make it happen. All my clients see me online, and I have seen successes from all of them. I have clients who won Grammys. I have clients who are headlining Broadway tours. I have clients who are on Broadway, and then I have clients who just want to sing good on Sunday morning. And I have everybody in between. So, there's no respected person like you gotta be this, you gotta be that. No, you just gotta come willing, and what's something to work with. Let's have something to work with. But come willing to learn and have a good time. That's what I'm all about.
That is awesome. I'm super happy to hear that you're online. I'm pretty sure that will help a lot of people out. Go ahead and support him, support his studio, get your private lesson. Folks, I don't bring nobody to you that I don't back 100%. And he has my back. And so make sure you go to jmlegrairstudios.com, right?
Yep, it's one studio. So jmlegrairstudio.com. Just
Studio. I'm
yeah.
speaking studios into your future. How
And
about
we can receive it in the name of Jesus. Okay.
Listen, Jaron, I am so thankful that you took out the time in your busy schedule to chat with us here today on WURD.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me again. I'm so honored and blessed to, just be a part of this. So thank you so much.
Awesome. You have a wonderful day. Listen, folks, we got to get right back to the music. You're tuned into Gospel Times with your girl, Jay.